Hey, we're on.
What's happening, y'all?
Pre-game.
Pre-game time.
Pre-game in it.
Good old Tuesday evening, 7. I don't have my watch on.
About 15-ish.
Yeah, 15-ish. Welcome to Fish Talk pre-game show. We're just here, getting ourselves ready for the evening. Hopefully y'all are too.
Mm-hmm. Let us know you're out there.
That's it. Say a hi, hello, any questions? How'd everybody do this week? Just kind of giving ourselves a few extra minutes, make sure everything's buttoned up, ready to go for this evening. Mm-hmm. Got a pretty darn good show, actually.
Getting our last adjustments.
That's it.
Trying to get Edith off the couch.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, she's grumpy tonight.
Not without a fight.
Yeah. That's okay, though. She deserves to lay down. At least she's not zooming around everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, she got that out this morning.
Big plus. Yeah, definitely. Yep, pre-gaming it, so just let us know you're out there. All you guys follow us and just say hello. Give us some comments.
That's it. Hopefully y'all did some fishing this week. I know about 105 of y'all may have.
there's a bunch out there, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice week, but at the same time, the weather was a little different between the fog, the cold, and the sun, and then disappearing all over again to start fogging again.
Yeah, we had some fog earlier in the week. Wasn't too bad today. I didn't get out early, though. We actually left about an hour later than we were supposed to.
Nice. Well, maybe it worked out for the better.
Yeah, it was okay for us. But
yeah, because past 2 mornings has definitely been foggy out there.
Yeah.
I got lost on one of my tours, and it was awesome. It's one of those
drive by Braille.
Bump along the oyster. Okay, I'm in Fish
your way
Creek.
around. No, it happens. Yeah. At least you're in the right boat to do it.
Yeah, a lot less worry.
Yeah. Yep.
I enjoy those foggy days, though. It's kind of like the most peaceful, eerie boating trip you could ever imagine.
Yeah, not as much traffic out there for sure.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it otherwise.
Yeah.
But there has been some really nice fish being caught. We got a couple of species moving in even a little closer, getting ready to be caught. Actually, I think they have been starting to get caught. Mm-hmm. Nice to see. These cooler water temps are pushing some fish into some dirty waters.
Definitely. If y'all are out there, let us know you're out there. Tell us how you did. We want to hear. We want to hear all your stuff.
Why don't we see it a little bit? Why don't we go ahead and do the Extreme Decalz Catch of the Week?
I like that
we
idea.
Can do that.
Let's jump right into that. A lot of photos submitted this week. So
I think it was like 68 of them or something.
Yeah.
A good week out there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's a good photo to start the week.
There you go.
Very nice. Fixed it.
The winner, we actually got the winner here tonight.
Yes, we do. They're actually going to be joining us this evening. That was a great turnout on the Kayak Tournament. Oh, man,
yeah, it was amazing time.
Yes, sir.
Second place. James, he held first place for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very close running in the top 5 there. It was down to literally centimeters on those fish, which was great.
Chris got third place and donated his earnings right back to OKM Cares.
Yeah, it's going to make for some stunning Christmas gifts this year. That's awesome.
Chris wins everything.
What a pretty darn cool photo. That almost looks like Bird Key out there.
It was.
I think Anthony submitted that one. Did he paddle all the way out to Bird Key?
Looks like it.
At least to the mouth of the river. That was a hike. Very nice, Brian Hammer. Good mess of fish on the fish clean station. Wow, look at that old slob. My goodness.
Woo.
Oh, it looked like it grew a bit. Very nice. Oh, Captain Carlos made his first trip in a kayak tournament this weekend, and I think he's hooked. It's pretty awesome. Very nice. Another one of our anglers. The amount of redfish that got caught this week was awesome to see.
And released.
Yes, and released. Everything was photo released, which was awesome. They're still out there swimming. Ooh, that's a good one. That shotgun start. What a beautiful morning it was.
Miss Denise.
Very nice trout, Miss Denise. Playing off into the mangroves. No better place to be. That's awesome. Thank you for taking all those photos, Marco. Yeah, I wish that was something we could have gotten out there to do, was take some good live photos of everybody out there tearing up some fish, but
Davis Dotson, the Godfather.
The Godfather.
The Dodfather.
Dodfather.
Yeah, if anybody that wasn't in the tournament noticed a pile of kayaks playing through a Rosello, well, that was some ho-ho-ho stuff. Fishing for the does.
That's an awesome photo.
Stunning redfish Garrett got.
That doesn't even look like an Ozello red. Look at the belly on that thing.
Yeah. Oof,
My.
big one. Very nice. Definitely had some slob reds caught out of this week. When we went and dumped the buoys, we saw really big ones. Very nice, George.
It was fun seeing George and the crew, man.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, there's the winning team there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yak Tribe.
Yak Tribe. Good group of people there. Very nice trout, Heath. Beautiful redfish. And I've seen all those fish brought in, made me mighty jealous. Nice picture, Ivy. Very nice release there. What a stunning sunrise. We got lucky on that tournament morning. If it had been one day different, the weather was a completely different change.
Mm-hmm.
Another good release.
Action shot.
Nice redfish there, Mr. James.
Don't forget, everybody that's watching, please do us a big favor and share. Help us grow. That's a huge trout.
Yeah, Jerry hooked into some good ones.
Oh, yeah, and he, from Smurfs Outdoor Gear, hooked us up with all the anglers with those awesome popping corks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Very nice redfish. Very nice, Jessica and James. Still out there catching fish. Good job, Kyle. Very nice redfish. Hey, I was there for that photo. That was a good catch. I think our boat spooks him, it doesn't. Let's hold back. Very nice.
Kayla, she won some good raffle prizes too. Look at that nice shirt too. Those tournament shirts came out nice.
Yes, best one of the 4 years.
Those great shirts. Beautiful photos.
Ooh, nice pompano for
There's one of those
little bonus catch.
pompano Mario's gonna be talking about tonight.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe. If I'm not mistaken, that looks like old Mr. Parrish there. Catching that sunrise. There he is again. Very nice.
He had a good tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's very photogenic. You're right, Bree. There's those ladyfish.
Most of y'all look at ladyfish as a trash fish, but that made some people some money right there.
I tell you what, a lot of people laughed at adding the ladyfish to the grand prize, and
Until it came to the weigh-in, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's
that
getting
made
close."
the difference.
it was strategic. That was fun.
Yeah, there were some big ladies brought in too. Nice redfish there, Miss Pritchard. Got that old red gun going. Wow. My goodness. Very nice read. Way over slot fish. That's awesome. It makes him look good.
Ron with a
Very
nice
nice,
redfish. That
The girth on the thing, it is
20?
as tall as it is.
yeah.
Barely fit on the scale or on the board there.
Another one. Very nice. Love seeing those big old football fish.
Man, there's a lot of fish caught.
Mm-hmm. Ah, a little side catch.
Tristan with a nice little flounder there.
Very nice.
No spotter.
Gorgeous dark redfish.
Look how red that thing is, too.
Winner again.
That was it. All right, well, let's hop into the intro, and then when we come back, let's see what it takes to win these tournaments with our guest tonight.
That's it.
What do you guys think?
Got some
Beyond the
info
woods.
coming.
Down the twists and the turns.
You guys want to see?
Through the marsh lies the knowledge needed to fish the nature coast.
This is Fish Talk Live.
Welcome to
Fish Talk Live.
presented by
One and only
Phillips Auto Group. Did you see how loaded down that truck that Phillips
Yes.
brought over with the Toys for Tots drive?
Yep, we had quite a few very generous folks come in. Some of them were in the tournament, and some of them were just really nice people of ours that come in for bait every once in a while and heard we had the truck there, and they brought us a load of stuff.
It was really cool. It was a last minute thing that the Phillips Auto Group said, hey, you know, do you think there's possibility of getting some more toys driven? And you bring the truck, we'll do our best to load it up. And thanks to the community and all of the anglers that showed up, we got that thing pretty loaded. So that was pretty cool. Now, Billy, that was our highest attendance. So 111 registered anglers, 104 were
Actual
paddlers, and a few didn't end up showing up or checking in. So we're not exactly sure, but that was definitely the biggest turnout yet.
It was awesome.
And
it was a great weekend.
Not a lot of planning, but it worked out. It worked out. That was really successful. So we're going to announce right now that the total that we're going to be donating to the Shop with the Cop program through the Citrus County Sheriff's Office just from this one tournament is $10,000.
Yes.
So thank you guys. Give yourself a round of applause. All the volunteers, sponsors, everyone that helped make that happen. To say from one little kayak tournament to donate 10 grand to get
awesome.
Bunch of presents in a bunch of kids' hands by a bunch of great people. It's
going to be a good holiday.
It is. It is. So we've got some special guests tonight. Now, not only are we going to be talking about the Ho 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 Fishing for Dough winners, we've also got some of our friends that won the Team of the Year
from Florida Redfish Series.
From the Florida Redfish Series. So these two guys are a father and son duo. They always enjoy seeing them at these tournaments, Billy. You can see the passion they have, not just to fish, but to fish together. And it's really cool to see. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from them on how to actually win, you know, that overall.
That's it. Not just a tournament, multiple tournaments.
Yeah, multiple. So I think that's through 7 tournaments.
Yeah, that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to the game.
So let's go ahead and get them introduced with Captain Marrio over there on the Ayinde Matthews State. Everybody, guys out there.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Very good, man. How are you, Mario?
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
very good.
just
Thank you.
living the dream. I tell you what, go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us what you do and how you do it.
All right. Yeah, my name is Doug Burlett, and this is my dad, John Burlett, and we're Team Bossing Associates out there on the Florida Redfish Series. We ended up pulling out Team of the Year this year through the 7 events. So it was a pretty special thing to do, not only to be able to do that with the Florida Redfish Series, with the great events that they put on, but to also do it with old Pops here.
Good deal. Talk to us a little bit about what you had to go through. I know there was a bunch of 7 or 8 tournaments that you went through, and how'd you pull off Team of the Year? Anything special that you guys did?
And not to cut in, Mario, but something I want to get into first before we go into that. So, Doug, John, how long have you guys been fishing together? You know, how long have you been doing tournaments? Let's start there, and then I want to hear their secrets on how hopefully maybe we can win team of the year next year.
I was kind of interested in hearing the secrets.
So how long have you guys been fishing together? Tell us your history.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start with that. So I've had Doug fishing on, in, and around the water since he was about 4.5, 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
I've always owned a boat. It got to be after a while where I sold my boat. Doug has a boat now. I just get on and fish and walk away.
Hell yeah.
I give him some money and I'm out. So I was born and raised in Tampa, and so I got two boys, another boy as well. He's a golfer. And my wife says, how did you manage that? Have a golfer and a fisherman. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But, we've been fishing, all our lives, so to speak, or all his life. And then, we started tournament fishing about 2 years ago. This season was our sophomore season. So now I'll let Doug tell you all the secrets.
All right.
Love that.
Go for it.
Yeah, so this is our second full season where we fished all the tournaments. We actually didn't fish all the East Coast tournaments last year. So this was our first full trail where we fished all 7 events. We ended up being in Team of the Year position after the second event, which was up in Panama City. So at that point, we were like, all right, well, we're going to have to go fish all the East Coast tournaments, places we're not familiar with. So it was a lot of dedication, hard work, a lot of traveling around to go check some of these areas out to find, the fish we're looking for. We put in a lot of time to pre-fish, to look around, to check these areas out. And we ended up getting, fairly lucky in most of these tournaments, and a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill got us all the way to the top when it was all said and done.
Yeah, and we really didn't pre-fish a couple spots because, it was just too far away to do. So Captain Doug here has done all his research. He studies, he reads, he looks, he, investigates. So I rely on him for that intel. Then we get out there and just do our thing. It's a constant grind, as any tournament fisher would know. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Again, you guys said at the beginning of the show, it's, a lot of dedication, a lot of time away from your family, if you will, and then hard work. Tournament fishing is hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. Now, going into an area that you don't know anything about, you said he was doing some research on it. How do you approach that? That's got to be very difficult for a person to come into an area that they don't know anything about or have never fished before. Do you go into it just straight up, just trial and error, or do you look on any of these Google Maps or Google Earth or whatever it is, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, so it's a lot of trial and error as well, but it's a lot of map work. It's a lot of looking around and finding things that you associate to redfish. You're looking for different areas that kind of relate to what you fish and how you like to fish it around these different areas. There is some factors with the East Coast with their 5, 6, 7 foot tide swings that they have. We went over there and kind of just picked some areas that we knew were going to be a little deeper. So we could kind of be safe and not get stuck and high and dry somewhere. So we focused on a little bit deeper canals, a little bit deeper troughs. So that's all map work, looking around, trying to find those little areas that we could kind of pinpoint where they might be when that tide drops out. And we ended up finding a couple and got lucky over there. And we had some really bad weather in the Jacksonville and the St. Augustine tournament. It was pretty wet. It was raining on us for a while, a lot of wind. But I think just a little bit of that preparation of finding that deeper water kind of helped us out where we were able to pick off a couple here and there. And we ended up making it work.
And Jacksonville was really funny. I mean, we're not used to these 6, 7 foot tide swings. So just that reed line we were just fishing, he goes, there it is. It was gone.
It was above our heads at that point. It was the tide dropped out, 4 feet by then. And I'm like, that one's not fishable.
Let's try something different.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. We try to make it a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, approaching new areas like that's always it gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit because you never know what you expect. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But I can't imagine what you guys have to go through to try to fish an area that you've never even encountered before. East Coast fishing and West Coast fishing are so much different.
Absolutely,
people don't understand that because they fish one area and they think they have it down, but when you go 100 miles to the other coast, and it's a completely different game. Yeah, definitely.
You can see where these guys have the advantage, Marrio, before each tournament, during the tournament, after the tournament, whenever you
I've been doing that now for about 39 years. Vossi is one of my vendors. They do underground and overhead utilities. They do directional boring, line work on aerial or underground, any kind of underground, from power to fiber optic cable to HFC cable, coaxial cable. It's all underground utilities. They put in gas lines, water lines, whatever, any kind of underground utilities that you can think of. So they're a utility contractor.
Good deal.
Very nice.
And what's some of y'all's go-to soft plastics or top waters, like you're talking? Like, what do you guys have a core set of tackle you like to use, or is it pretty much per spot? You get a feeling of the type of bait they have there, colors. How does that work?
Yeah, so I try to be pretty versatile when it comes to that. It basically depends on where we're at and what kind of stuff we're seeing around, whether it be some kind of shrimp, some kind of bait fish presentation, whatever the case is on what I'm seeing. But there's everybody throws topwater plugs. My dad's favorite lure to throw is a topwater skidder walk. He'll throw that thing all day. I think there was 2 or 3 tournaments. I think he didn't put it down the whole day. He threw it all day long. And he relies on me to throw the other stuff. He says, I'm going to catch him on it, and he does.
It works.
But I throw a lot of stuff. It just depends on what's in the area and what I'm throwing based on what I'm seeing in front of me. But I throw a lot of Z-Man stuff, Z-Man paddle tails, and some of their other creature profiles and stuff around. I like to sight fish them, so I like to look for them and see them and throw to them. And then my dad's the power guy. He just goes and chucks and winds all day.
I'll throw 500 casts. He'll throw 50.
Work,
You guys were that's it, man. You got to put in that work. You guys were saying earlier you held the first place lead since the second tournament. Coming up towards the end, were you guys confident you were going to take it home, or was it pretty competitive towards the end? I think last year the first place had quite a big lead in first. Were you guys pretty confident you just needed to catch a couple fish, or tell us a little bit about that?
No, we weren't super confident with it. We were going to go out and do what, we planned on doing and stick to our game plan that we had and go from there. But Steenhatchee is a pretty tough little place, and it can be hit or miss some days. And, we ended up struggling a little bit the first day. We found some fish later on in the day, but they just weren't those bigger fish we were looking for. But K&G Construction were behind us by 2 points going into that championship. And so they came in 3 places higher than us. They would have beaten us, so we needed to have a solid couple days of fishing. And then there was a couple other teams that were, 8, 9, 10 points away. So we definitely couldn't fall too far behind. And luckily we scrounged enough to day 1 to keep us in contention. And then day 2, we had a little bit better day and ended up finishing 1 spot behind K&G in the actual championship tournament. So I think they came in 8th, we came in 9th. So they gained 1 point back on us, but we ended up winning by 1 point. So it was about as close as you can get.
Yep.
Just like a baseball game.
That's it.
Now your strategies from tournament to tournament. You fish 7 or 8 of these things to win Team of the Year. Do they vary much from area to area? Just say if you were fishing the East Coast, does your strategy change from the East Coast to the West Coast?
East Coast to West Coast, they change a little bit because I'm not super familiar with the East Coast stuff. So I try to base off maps and previous, experiences I do have there, try to kind of figure out where they're going to be and how we're going to be able to catch them. The West Coast, I'm a little more familiar with. I fished the West Coast my whole life. So I got a little bit more idea where I can find fish on, 2 or 3 foot tide swings, but when it's 6 or 7 feet, it's a whole different ball game. So they fall out in different places. I've learned on the East Coast than they do on the West Coast. So it's a lot different from West Coast to East Coast. But the West Coast events, we kind of fish the same kind of areas, the same kind of patterns, the same kind of stuff, because that's what we're used to.
Yeah, and then being on the East Coast, being our sophomore season, we learned a lot over this whole season. So hopefully it'll help us going into this next season.
Yeah, definitely. Experience is always going to help you in the long run, for sure. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's the best thing you can have is experience in any places that you go. The more time you're there, the more time you can spend in an area to figure out where they're going to be, how to get to places, how to get out of places. That's the biggest key to a lot of it is a lot of time and effort to figure these places out.
And the tricky part too is, you're fishing for a 25 to 27 inch fish. Anybody can catch a redfish, but you're looking for one in between 25 and 27 inches if you want to be in the money anywhere. I don't care. We pre-fished, and all these tournament people know that. We pre-fished, go back the next day or the next week, gone. You know what I mean? Then your strategy changes.
They move.
They, like my Douglas always tells me, they have fins, Dad. They move. They swim.
Tails with no homes.
Yeah.
Area, and I'm like, they're not there. We already went look for them, and they weren't there. So they move around. So you got to stay on them for sure.
So my last question for you guys: if you have, what is, since you fished all the stops, what is the one stop that gives you all the most trouble, or the one stop you don't look forward to the least?
Dread the most.
Yeah. What's that one stop that?
The one stop that got us this year was St. Augustine. So that was the one stop that gave us the most trouble. We fished for 8 hours. We had one bite and caught one fish, and he was about 18.5 inches. Oof. And we fished all day, hard as can be, hundreds of casts, and that we caught one fish. We had one bite all day between the two of us. But that's definitely the hardest place, but we're going to spend some time trying to figure that place out a little bit for this upcoming season. And then Steenhatchee can be pretty tough too. We have some tough times up there where they find some fish on some areas. Next thing you know, they're not there. So we don't know where they go, but we're going to find them.
And the big thing with St. Augustine, we came in with one fish, and we're looking for K&G. We're looking for them. They came in with one fish.
Oh, wow.
So that was crazy. We're like,
that helped us.
Okay, thank you.
What's funny about that was the only tournament that we didn't pre-fish, and that was the only tournament that we did halfway decent. And I mean, we were the whole time we were just praying to, everyone talks about the king tides over there and fishing in the wood lines, and that was really all we wanted to do. We just wanted to see a fish, and it ended up prevailing. But that everything else, like we pre-fished hard, and that was the one we just showed up to, said, let's just go have fun and figure this out, because there's not a lot of places to fish in a tournament like that, I feel like, because a lot of those creeks and everything can get blocked right away. So that one, exactly. So I think I'm right there with you guys, honestly, because we got real lucky that we were able to get into the creek mouth, because once we got to it and we started entering, we could hear the boats come in. They saw us, they turned around and left. And so we definitely got lucky by being there, but I'm right there with you. That's the one stop there. And honestly, Crystal River pisses me off.
Our home water.
Crystal River makes me mad.
That was our second worst finish this year, was Crystal River. It's a little spot for sure.
Hey, we found them, pre-fished them, we found them, and the next day you couldn't get in there. The tide was back up or something.
Oh yeah. And they're pretty stubborn here too.
I'm with you, Gary, on that one.
Well, good deal. Marrio, you got anything else for him?
No, we that just about covered everything. But we appreciate you coming on, and congratulations for the win there for the team of the year. And hope to see what you guys are going to do next year.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you joining.
Yeah, really appreciate y'all joining, and really look forward to seeing you guys in January. And we'll see you guys soon.
Yes.
I didn't know what to do.
Let's go to a commercial.
Or I guess we'll do intro.
My name is Captain Gary Bartell Jr. I own Ozello Keys Marina and River Adventure Tours right here in Ozello, Florida. Having a reliable truck in my line of business is very important, but what's even more important is a relationship with who we got the vehicle from. And Phillips Ocala is a prime example of a partner in our business. They sponsor our show, which has brought it to the next level. Fish Talk Live was real small before they got involved, and they really helped us gather the tools that we needed to get it to the next level. they also support a lot of the community affairs in our area, whether it be fundraisers or just lending a hand after a hurricane. Phillips Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is always there for us. We're real excited to be, not only partners with them, but friends with them. Vassy and Associates, Doug and John, awesome people. They are the exact prime reason that we enjoy fishing the Florida Redfish Series, is because of anglers just like that. There's a lot of guys out there that deserve it, but they really and truly deserved it. So I'm super excited to be able to interview them tonight. And hopefully Brody can control himself a little bit in the near future, because I'd love to fish tournaments with
About
Brody.
10 more years.
So that being said, before we interview the winner of the Ho 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 Fishing for Dough Kayak Tournament, let's go ahead and talk with Captain Marrio over on the Nature Coast Financial Advisors Tackle Table Talk and get his input from the fishing here, because he's been having some amazing days of fishing and catching.
Absolutely.
Captain Marrio, take it away, my friend.
Alrighty, well, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing here for the past week or so. The fishing's been phenomenal. This time of year, it's always really good. I look forward to November and December. November, maybe not so much because of the weather, but December is always a good month for trout and redfish, and we catch a lot of bycatch of pompano. We start seeing the sheep's head running. We've been catching all of that. Now the trout, everybody's wondering how am I getting these trout? Well, I'm targeting a lot of these the big creeks with the deep cuts that are inside of these creeks. As soon as we have a cold front, when the fronts pass, they like to collect into these deeper holes. Some of these holes are 5, 6, 7 feet deep in the mouths of these larger creeks. There's a bunch of them that all the way from Yankeetown to Chaz. You can just about pick one and go for it. But all these trout seem to be setting down right on the edges, on the deeper edges, and we're working our baits slow and low. Mirror Lure Little John has been a go-to for mine. We've been using also the new Saltwater Assassin P&V. The darker natural colors have been working really good, but that's the key to it, is working really slow. Just barely crawl them across the bottom and hop them out of the structure, because a lot of these creek mouths have a lot of oysters. There's some lime rock edges, but they're in all these little cracks and crevices, and they're just waiting for food to go over the top of their head. And you work one of those baits to them, and it's pretty much game on. We've been getting our limits of trout within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, which is it's a good thing to see, because in the past couple of years we haven't had a excellent trout bite, but this year I'm going to say this year's bite has been excellent so far this season. The redfish is pretty normal this time of year. We're still getting them on the outside islands. We're getting them inside the rivers. We're getting them inside the creeks, anywhere there's structure. And the one thing that I try to tell everybody is you got to follow the mullet. If you see mullet schools, you fish around the mullet schools. A lot of people are throwing their baits inside the middle of the school, and I don't think that's a great idea. You can catch 1 or 2 fish that way, but if you really want to catch a lot of these redfish that are going around these mullet schools, you got to cast to the outside edges of the mullet schools. You don't want to blow any of these fish out. We're taking any of these, any live baits, like we use a lot of live shrimp on a jig head. If they're finicky and it's like glass calm out, we'll free line them on a 3/0 or a 4/0 hook, just so that it doesn't make a big splash in the water when you throw it out there. Using a lot of cut bait. Cut mullet works pretty good, cut pinfish. But there's one thing that I like to use when the water gets colder, that not a lot of people use, is cut lizard fish. And I'm cutting them into very small chunks, maybe 3/4 of an inch wide, 1/2 inch wide. One lizard fish, foot-long lizard fish, you'll get 7, 8 baits out of sometimes. just letting them soak right in front of the mullet. But try not to cast in the middle of the mullet schools, because the middle of the school, you will catch 1 or 2 fish out of that. But if you want to catch multiple fish out of each school, you want to cast to the edges so you don't spook the fish out. We've been getting also, while we're trout fishing, we've been getting a lot of pompano. If you start to see pompano skipping on the surface, or if they're just below the surface, you'll see them mooning every once in a while. I switch over from the plastic bait to a live shrimp. And I'm doing the same thing that I'm fishing for the trout. I'm just working it really slow and low. If you hook one of the pompano, you know you got a pompano instead of a trout, because they fight pretty hard. And you get the first pompano in, have whoever's on your boat cast right next to them. And a lot of times you'll get the second, third, and fourth pompano, because they do travel in schools. But like I said, working a live shrimp, slow and low. If you're specifically targeting pompano, you can use some of these pompano jigs, like a pink or a chartreuse pompano jig. You can tip it with shrimp, or you can use it plain. Some of them have the little bucktails on them. They work pretty good also. If you don't have any of the bright colored ones, they have some that are like a brown color with gold flake. That also works pretty good for pompano. We've also been catching flounder while we're trout fishing as a bycatch. I know they're closed right now, but the flounder bite's pretty good if you like to catch the flounder. But all of them in the same areas where you're catching the trout. You have to have deep water, fairly deep water, and the other thing you need is clean water. Look for any of these creeks that are dumping out, or as the water's coming in, where you can see all the way down to the bottom. That's going to be a big key for the pompano. They do like clean water. Also, if you're going to specifically target pompano, big sandbars are also a good area to look for. Again, I would throw the pompano jigs, any of the bright color ones, pink and chartreuse, with a little tip of shrimp on the end of the jig, and just work it around your sandbars. Sandbars are a little bit easier to find the pompano at, because a lot of times you'll have boat traffic running by, and you'll actually see the pompano skipping in the wakes of the boats. So anytime you have pompano skipping like that, it's always good to turn around and fish right where you see them skipping, because there's going to be more than one there. That's about it for a fishing report. So
A lot of fish.
That was a damn good fishing report. I mean,
there's been plenty. Yeah,
what Mario's been bringing in daily, it's crazy. It's and
Custer came off the boat today with 2 5-gallon buckets full of fish.
Yeah,
redfish, trout, pompano. I think there was a black drum in there.
Yeah, sheep's head,
sailfish.
I've been getting a lot of everything, and this is the time of year you want to be out there, because the air temperature's nice, the water temperature's anywhere between 60 and 70. Everything's hungry. They're trying to fatten up a little bit before it gets really cold. Just fishing's great. If you got a boat, get out there. If you don't have a boat, call the marina, have them hook you up with one of the guides out here. We have 7 or 8 great, fantastic guides that go out of here almost every day. And but the fishing's really good right now, and you need to get out there and get yourself on some of the best catches of the year.
Get hooked up.
Good deal. Awesome. Captain Marrio Castello, Tall Tales Charters. Book a trip with this guy.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed.
The lizard fish, love the lizard fish. Yeah, cut lizard fish work really good. It's not just a bycatch while you're catching trout anymore.
That's the nice part about it. It is a bycatch with trout, and they are plentiful.
It's not a huge secret, but you can actually trout fish with the lizard fish too. If you fillet a lizard fish out and cut them into about 3-inch long strips, they work pretty good for the trout. Also, if you don't have any plastics, or if you don't have any other bait. Most people out here use plastics for the trout, which I like doing. I'm a 50-50 guy. I use shrimp sometimes. I use plastic sometimes. I use cut bait sometimes for the trout. But for the most part, the trout will eat just about anything if you find them in these big schools like we have been. And the cooler weather will concentrate them, and they will concentrate in the deeper areas in front of these big creek mouths. And there's a bunch of creeks out here. Even the smaller creek mouths, if it's got the right structure, you can get on a load of trout there too. But they're fun to catch, and they're great to eat.
Have you tried to eat a lizard fish yet?
No, I have not. No.
That's a good-looking, solid tube of white meat.
Yeah.
I don't blame the redfish and the trout for all eating it, but I mean...
It reminds me of the meat that comes off of a puffer fish.
Very similar. Yeah. You get that perfect little drumstick.
I tell you what, a smaller live lizard fish and also a toadfish is one of my favorite live baits for grouper.
Mm-hmm. Swallow them whole.
We have a question. Hold on.
I believe flounder is open on the 15th of December. I can't be too sure of that, but you'd have to look at FWC and check their regulations. I would look in more than one spot because sometimes the FWC is a few weeks behind. So I would look on the FWC website, check the regulations on that. There's a couple of apps out there that you can also check to make sure everything's in line. But I want to say it was the 15th of December that it opens back up.
Hey, Siri.
Yeah, there you go. Ask Siri.
I don't know if it works while I have it.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Hey, Siri.
I tell you.
Nope.
See them out there on the airboat tours, though.
Hey, Siri.
See quite a few of them out there on that limestone bottom.
No, it's not working.
Take off and stop. It's a cool sight.
All right. Good deal. Captain Marrio Castello, everybody. Thank you so much, Marrio. The Pompano, super cool. Check out those Pompano rigs that he was talking about. We've talked about it before. You could go out there and specifically target Pompano if you really want to. Mm-hmm. And those jigs are probably the best way, aren't they? So you can move around a lot, Mario.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, definitely. Cover some bottom and cover the bars and all your sandy patches out there.
All right. That being said, let's go ahead and hear from the first place winner of the 4th annual Ho 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 Fishing for Dough Kayak Tournament, the largest inshore fishing kayak tournament in the state of Florida. Jonathan Jackson,
Mr. Jackson,
my man, are you out there? There he is.
What's happening?
I am. I'm here.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm cold. Back in the frigid Connecticut weather. Wishing I was still down there in your warm 60 degrees.
Heck, we're shivering.
So you live in Connecticut. Tell us the start. This is my favorite part of this tournament. It really and truly is. Tell us from start to finish how you ended up here in Florida to fish this tournament. Yeah, and how'd you hear about us? Now last year, I want to save that to the end. So let's just talk about this year.
All right. So my buddy of mine, Ivy Harris, fishes that area quite frequently. I used to live down in Florida. I went to high school in Tampa. Used to live in Orlando. So I only moved up to Connecticut about 8 years ago. So I've been up here for a good bit of time. And was looking to get away for the wintertime last year. And he said, hey, there's a tournament going on. So I flew down for it. Last year was my first year doing it. This year, I meant to come in a little bit early to pre-fish, but my daughter had a recital that Friday. So I took a late flight, landed around midnight in Orlando, or landed in Orlando about 10. And by the time I got over to that area, it was about midnight. Borrowed a couple of rods from some guys, borrowed a kayak, and they were gracious enough to let me fish the next day.
Too cool, man. And I didn't know the part that the reason why. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know that it was because your daughter had a recital. So that makes it even extra special, man. That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and I ran into Jonathan, and who was the other gentleman that was with you that morning?
Yeah. So that was Ivy that I was with at the gas station that morning.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I ran into him, and you guys told me you just flew in. I'm thinking just flew in a couple of days ago, whatever. But no, it was that night.
A couple hours ago.
A few hours before.
So what was your game plan going into it? Did you have a clue, or did you just kind of wing it?
Yeah, no. Well, the plan was go for redfish early. Then look for trout, and then finish up with the ladyfish on the way back in. So looking for some moving water, some clean water, We were able to find it in the mangroves. So it was a group of about eight of us. I know Heath from everything from Yak Tribe was kind of with us. He was off in another area. A few other guys. I know Franco was snapping, oodles of pictures. He was also in another area fishing, and we were just kind of seeing where everybody was. And I just was able to find an area in the mangroves. A little bit of combination of luck and preparation.
Good deal, man. What did you throw artificial most of the time? Did you use live bait?
Yeah, all day. I had some live bait planned, but I didn't end up needing it. Ended up catching 2 redfish that day. The first one I got on a top water. He was about 21 inches. So I planned on moving on to trout after that. So I threw on a suspending lure mullet, got into a back channel, threw it back in there. And, that's when I got the 28 inch red off of that guy.
Wow.
That's a good bycatch trout fishing.
Yeah.
So,
my goodness.
So just now, you may be kind of biased on this answer since you won, but what did you think of the ladyfish, including it in the overall? Did you like it, or was it a gamble?
It was a gamble. Ladyfish is not something I have ever targeted. It is, one of those that, you catch it and you just figure that you're lucky because now you got, redfish snook bait. It was, and I was actually surprised, when I caught the redfish. I was actually trolling from one area to another, and I'm not the redfish, but the ladyfish, trolling from one area to another, and I got him on a plastic shrimp.
Oh, wow. Good deal.
That's awesome.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. All right, Jonathan, let's talk about last year now. So this makes it all better. I'm not joking. I don't think one person more deserved this.
There's no better redemption
because of last year. So walk us back to last year from start to finish. What happened?
Yeah, so this was definitely my redemption year. So last year I did make it down to pre-fish. Fished the Friday before. Me and 2 other guys, Ivy was within that group as well. Had a plan for what area to go to. So I kind of knew, or thought I knew, where I was going. So I separated from the pack in a rush to find a redfish before the end of the day. And I was probably about, I don't know, maybe 100-200 yards away from where I thought I was. And so when I went into the mangroves and thought, okay, this is the spot for me to cut right, I cut right and went further away from the launch. Oh. So by the time I opened up my phone, I realized that there was no way I was going to make it back to the launch before nighttime. So had a decision to make: either spend the night on the water or continue on through the mangroves. So called up Ivy, called up Billy, and said, hey, Billy was looking at the map for me and said, hey, there's a little cut in these mangroves here. The best you can do is keep going and hope you can make it to the road.
Comforting.
Water was pouring out of the area. So I, got as skinny as I could. And basically sat by the road. A couple of people may have seen a strange guy sitting off in the ditch on the side of the road. So they drove past me and got all the way back to the weigh-in and called me and said, hey, we don't see you anywhere. I said, I'll get out of the kayak and I'll stand by the road. So they drove back and we had to do a roadside rescue. And at that time, I was one of those guys. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to the weigh-in. We had one guy that went to the weigh-in last year, and I just, went to a car wash, cleaned up the kayak, and headed back.
Wow, man.
So when you launched last year, did you launch out of our marina or did you launch at the end of the road?
No, at the end of the road.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did the same launch this year as I did last year.
Gotcha.
but this year was a lot more studying maps, making sure that I had an idea where I was going, and my biggest plan this year was not separating from without eye shot of the rest of the group, or at least somebody in the group.
Man, I tell you, dude, that's like I said, that was just the overall story. I mean, from not getting here for pre-fishing for the most honorable reason possible, to catch your daughter's recital, coming in late, coming all the way from Connecticut, the furthest traveled angler for this tournament.
Yeah, with no gear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Furthest traveled. Yep. Yeah, we always thought it was Louisiana, but that's because I don't think we knew that you were from Connecticut last year.
Until this year.
Because we couldn't find you, so.
Okay, yeah. No, I know. We got, I had some people in the group that come up from South Florida. Ed Hornsby comes over from Mississippi. So I've fished over in that area in Louisiana as well. But if I was still living in Florida, I'd just be coming from Orlando.
All right.
There you go.
I like that you guys come from all over the place. South Florida, like you said, Mississippi, Connecticut. So come and fish together. I love that.
That's
and
cool.
the camaraderie of that is
just
just
one thing
epic.
about fishing. It does bring people together.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Brings people together and it tears them apart very quickly. So we actually had our first meeting for next year's tournament today.
Yeah.
All right.
We are pumped, and we're gonna make it a lot larger of a festival itself, especially for families of the anglers, or if you want to bring kids, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But as of right now, if everything prevails, are you planning on coming back for next year?
Absolutely.
Love it.
I like to hear. Well, the good news is you actually dropped your check. So
appreciate that.
We can mail it to you, but because of its size, it'd be $3,500. So
Freight's expensive these days.
there we go. Jonathan, man, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for that awesome story. Super cool. And we're really looking forward to seeing you next year, and hopefully before that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I look forward to coming back. That's a great fishery. I love it.
Good deal. Do you want to give anyone any shout outs for any sponsored stuff or anything?
My boy Ivy Harris, urban legend, Ed Hornsby out of Mississippi with everything kayak, Franco for the awesome pictures. Billy, who's awesome fisherman out of South Florida. Guy's a beast. Heath from Yak Tribe. He does a lot of great things. A lot of great things for educating educating people on conservation. Getting people interested in the kayak fishing, especially the youth. Let's see. I think I'm missing somebody as well. Roberto, if I didn't say that one already. So
nice.
And anybody else that I missed.
Good deal, man.
Good group of friends, and we can't wait to see all of y'all next year.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. We will be back.
Seriously. Well, Jonathan Jackson, thank you, sir. Guys, big round of applause for that man right there. We appreciate you coming back, and we're glad that the Ozella backwires didn't scare you from last year. So, but all right, man. You have a great night. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. So that being said, a wonderful turnout. Oh, we have something from Brianna. Okay. All right, Bria's going to put something that up on the screen, I'm assuming.
Quickly, but may not.
2 photos here. Let's see what we got. Oh, yes. Yes. So this is Captain Jacob Imhoff.
That was a message that I had received.
He said if I flip, this is while he was fishing the tournament.
Yep.
He's not a kayak angler. What's it? 1 hour? That's right.
This is 1 hour into the kayak.
If I flip one more time, I'm done.
I'm very happy with you, Jacob, that you stuck it out, brother.
And then I can't figure out why it's leaking.
Called a drain plug.
But you know what? He said he would fish it again.
He prevailed and he continued and pushed through the whole tournament. I think he emptied like 5 or 6 times. He had to empty the kayak on an island. But he made it back with fish.
Yeah, and he wanted to make sure and give a shout out to Mad Skills Electrical Company for letting him borrow that kayak that he forgot to put a plug in. But Captain Carlos fished the tournament.
Yep, it was fun seeing some of our local guides get in on it.
Captain Carlos is serious about kayak angling now.
Yep, y'all may see him at the Florida Redfish Series this coming season.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I hope to see that.
He's already got his big sponsor lined up, and so it should be a good one. But all right, well, Billy, let's ask the secret question tonight. We're going to be giving away a couple cool little items here.
Yep. Woohoo!
CCA hat.
Pretty sweet CCA hat at that.
2 CCA coasters. No,
a koozie for you
thank
and
you.
your significant other. And only one beer to share between the koozies.
And one of those awesome microfiber beach towel things.
Yep, nice towel to dry up your spouse's tears when they don't get the beer.
So tonight's question, top 6 people that answer it, is going to get added on to the Reel of Fortune over there.
Good right return on top of that.
Oh yeah, the good one too. What time did Jonathan Jackson fly in to Orlando? What time did his flight land?
Yep, what time did he land?
He said 2 different times, so make sure you're paying attention. What time did Jonathan Jackson fly in for the 4th annual Ho-Ho Fishing for Dough Kayak Tournament? We're going to go to a commercial break. Top 6 people is going to get added on to the Reel of Fortune, which will be spinning for this cool little prize tonight.
That's it. Spin it to win it.
Here in Florida,
10 p.m.
every name tells a story. Just saying Ian, Nicole, or Michael brings about strong memories. But then there's Adam and Gary. Together, their teams helped rescue over 3,500 people. And Vicky, she used her food truck to feed the community.
Thank you so much, guys.
And Andy, he flew medical aid to devastated communities. But then there's Shane, Clyde, and Robert. Together, they have more than 60 years of storm experience. They stand with an FPL team of thousands, ready to respond. So as the next storm approaches, just know we're prepared. Here in Florida, every name tells a story, and every name is important. Because together, we can weather any storm.
And we are
I got a funny story.
apparently getting all sorts of numbers and interesting stories.
All right, so Bree's got a funny story real quick.
Bree has a funny story.
So it's not that funny, but for
Was to
some
her.
reason, it usually mutes all the mics when we go to commercial. So when I asked you what the answer was,
Oh,
you
did I give it
shot
away?
the 10. Everyone.
Oh my God.
You are welcome.
Sorry.
That's awesome.
Whoops, no wonder she was hitting panic buttons back there.
Yeah, it happens. Well, that was an easy one then.
Yeah, technically speaking,
You only
I
need 6.
happen to give that away.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, it's a 6, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just 6.
Oh, I don't know what it was.
All right,
Sorry for the spoiler alert.
let you guys take it over.
Oh boy,
take
all
that
right.
Yeah. Take it to Billy.
So
How do you get
It's
over
still
the
on
board
me.
there, Bree?
Don't touch buttons.
The other one.
sorry.
Next one. That's Edith.
So where's the other board?
I don't know right now.
I don't know how to label.
Oh yeah, we have to.
I don't know what they
1
go
through
with.
6.
1 through 6.
All right.
So we have a grouper. We have a pompano, a shrimp, redfish, sheep, and a snook. So we're mixing this up a bit. We apparently have misplaced our board.
There's a lot of tournament stuff up.
Yeah, to say the least, this place is, it looks presentable. But all right, so now I have something to relay some people with. So for the folks that guessed 12 o'clock, you obviously weren't listening. So the answer was 10. That was my fault. So for my top 6 that were really fast at answering this, we're going to go ahead and give this a spin it and see what we get. I'm going for shrimp.
Pompano.
Grouper.
Woo! Pompano. What do we have on a Pompano? I have a Dale.
Yeah.
What is it?
Dale Guy here.
Dale Galcare. All right. Congratulations, Dale.
Congratulations, Dale. Whoop. Enjoy that beer, bro.
Yeah, the beer and then this towel. This towel is the most amazing towel I've ever felt ever.
Absolutely. Straight from Bahio themselves. And come to find out, they hand press all their logos. Found that out today.
That's how dedicated they are.
Yeah, that is serious because they're not subsidizing anybody to do it. They just do it in-house. So that's pretty cool stuff right there.
That's awesome. Billy, why don't you send it off, my friend?
Thank you all very much for joining us tonight with Fish Talk Live. Thank you to all of our sponsors over there at Ayinde Matthews, the Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Phillips, Brian from Extreme Decalz, Extreme Foam Mattings. Thank you all, everybody. If it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be able to do this. Make sure you do share this so we can continue to do it here in the future. Otherwise, thank y'all.
Yeah.